All right, I think we have most everyone that was in the kind of the pre-waiting room, but I just wanted to say hi, good afternoon. Thanks for joining us today. Here in Minnesota, it's a foggy day, fog advisories, a little bit gloomy, but warm, warmer than it's been. So we appreciate people taking time out of their day to kind of say hi and see what's going on at the national office and things like that. So I wanted to kind of kick it off with our kind of meet your 2024 executive committee members. So if you're on the executive committee for 2024 and you want to put your video on, I'll kind of just go through people and ask that you just kind of say hi, what your position is, and kind of what you're looking forward to working on in 24 in terms of AIPG, not your whole life. So why don't I start? I'll start with Paula because Paula, I see your video is up.
Hello, everybody. How are you doing now? And just like you in Minnesota, I am pretty foggy and it's kind of sloppy here. I'm on one of the new advisory board members with AIPG. And one of the things I'm looking forward to working with AIPG is to really understand what our membership needs and to try and really understand what the issues are that we need to help our membership with other geologists. We're a diverse group nowadays, and I think there's a lot of things that this organization could work to help all those different, you know, geologists out. I've been in consulting for almost 35 years. My specialty is hydrogeology, and in particular, I've worked in solid waste for most of my career. So I've seen a lot of stuff happen over the years, um, and I'm looking forward to bringing that experience to AIPG.
Awesome. Thank you, Paula. Good to see you online
You
too.
too.
Mark, I see your video is up, so maybe we could toggle over to you next, please.
Okay, hello, it's Mark Howell. I'm in Danville, Indiana, where it's also foggy and soggy, I think like most of the world. I'm new kid on the block. I'm on the advisory board uh, uh, newly this year. I look forward to just kind of learning how things work at the national level, what the needs are. If there's an area I have particular interest in, it is kind of the future of the profession. How, where are we today? What direction are we going? And can we steer that in some way? I don't know the answers to those, but I see it as a pressing need and look forward to contributing and working with everyone.
Thanks. Good to see you. Glad to have you on board. Robert, I see your video's on, so I'm gonna pick on you next, please.
Not a problem. I'm Robert Andrews from the Ohio section. I am the secretary for this year and next year. Um, uh, Essentially, I work for the city of Columbus as the wellfield protection coordinator, protecting a groundwater aquifer that's used for a third of the city of Columbus. And prior to that, I did consulting work and even then did worked for the Kentucky Geological Survey for 11 and a half years on projects. So, I look forward this year to kind of well, this is my second term, if you will, or second attempt or participation on the executive committee. I was an advisory board member last year, and this year, I have new duties, which is to be secretary and kind of the keeper of the records and supervise the member and adjunct membership applications. So that's all I got.
Yeah, no, that's great. Thanks. Good to have you on board. Robert's position is 2 years, in case anyone forgot. So let's see. Clint, would you mind being next?
I'm Clint Noble. This is my first year on the National Executive Committee. I am on the advisory board. So this is, I'm excited about getting involved on the national level. I've been president of the Florida section for a few years now, FAPG, Florida Association of Professional Geologists. I've been professional geologist, senior project manager. Most of my work deals with water resources, environmental assessment, remediation, and I have done a lot of construction management. So I'm on a little bit of geotech and mining. We actually have a lot of mining. It's just not as exciting, but we do have a lot of mining in Florida. I see on my advisory board position, I've got the kind of the oversight for the Southeast US, the sections that are in the Southeast US. I'll be happy to get them, re-engaged or find out what the issues are that may help their membership, especially the early career professionals, get engaged. There seems to be some disconnection maybe between, or communication between what we can do nationally and maybe what active geologists need. And anyway, cutting across multidisciplinary endeavors interest me, and that's the nature of geology. We kind of a little piece of everything in the engineering and consulting world. And so I'm happy to, I have a knack for communicating what we do and our importance across different boundaries, right? And that's what I've been doing with FAPG for the past few years, is in protecting our license and describing what we do to lawmakers and politicians and being part of those laws. So
Yeah, no small job with Florida and the licensing issues. So thank you for that.
Yep, you're welcome.
Mark, I see your video is on, so could I call on you next?
Thanks, Shanna. Mark Schaff, CPG. I'm starting off with AIPG. I'll start off with huge appreciation, advocacy. I really enjoy being a part of AIPG, and it's only been a few years, maybe pre-Sacramento, but I had reached out to Wendy Davison a number of times to sort of figure out what I could do and how I could get involved. I encourage all the folks that are on the call that aren't involved in some kind of contribution level, activity level. It is, well, first off, it's a huge group of geologists, so I really don't need to say more than that. Great people, really down to earth and grounded, fun to work with, fun to be around. My role is I'm in my second year as treasurer and started off on the advisory board a few years ago. And treasurer role is a 2-year role. I look forward to hopefully continuing in that role during the next election when that information comes out. And again, it's just that point in my career where it's time to start looking for opportunities to give back and be involved with helping important organizations such as AIPG. My other big passion is around the mentoring program, so I help out with that as well. And with Bridget Petrus, who's our early career professional executive committee member, we're putting on a couple of upcoming webinars for both graduating students and early career professionals, one early in February and one early in March. Whether you're graduating or you graduated a long time ago, or you're early in your career or late in your career, we welcome everybody to those webinars for support and involvement. So keep an eye out for emails regarding those upcoming webinars. I was born and raised and schooled up in Canada of American parents, so I'm blessed to have both citizenships. I am still playing hockey. That's one of those Canadian things, becoming quite an American thing too, of course. And have a game on Saturday. So that's my big outside of work and outside of AIPG passion. Coached for a lot of years, and I follow hockey pretty closely. So anyone who's a hockey nut like me, don't hesitate to reach out. And as I said, I really look forward to continuing with AIPG in my role as the treasurer. In the executive committee, we just had a finance committee meeting yesterday. There's about 4 people involved with that. And we're working on various things month to month for the best future, financial and otherwise, of AIPG. I'll leave it at that, and we'll go on to the next person. Thank you.
I will just interject and say that Minnesota is home to the U.S. Hockey Hall of Fame. So we are no strangers to hockey here. I never played. My parents did. I did not. But
Great hockey state, Minnesota is for sure.
hockey, go
Yeah.
Wild, go Minnesota.
Hopefully you finally got the weather
PH.
for it up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's been a bit mild there earlier in the winter. So
Oh, fun stuff.
yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks for being our treasurer. And keeping the mentoring program alive and healthy, because it's a no small job, and it's very appreciated by everyone who's been a part of it. So yeah. Bridget, I see your video on, so if you wouldn't mind going next, that'd be great.
Yeah, I figured it would be a good segue. So yeah, as Mark said, I'm round 2 of the National Early Career Professional Representative on the committee here. So looking forward to continuing, what was done last year. So a little bit about myself. So I'm a geologist at Battelle. So I am in their Energy and Resilience division. So I mostly do government contract work with, I suppose, emerging energy needs, technologies, or whatever buzzword you want to use there. So I'm mostly in the carbon storage realm. So I'm pretty heavy on the subsurface side of things. But yeah, really enjoy my work. And yeah, in terms of what I'm looking forward to this year, Mark kind of said it. So, put it in your calendar now, February 6th and March 5th. We have two webinars planned, and then later I think we'll do a geo careers panel, because who doesn't love to learn what other geologists do? And I guess one other thing, while I have the floor here, is I really recommend, sending these opportunities personally to, students or early career professionals, because I think, it's one thing to get an email from this, very large organization that you should be paying attention to. And it's very different when, a mentor or somebody that you know personally actually sends this to you and says, hey, please attend this. So, if everyone on the call could do that, I think that would be really, really helpful for me and Mark, who's going to be moderators, as well as, the panelists to generate great discussion. So yeah, looking forward to another year with everyone.
Yeah, we're so happy to have you back. Thank you. And I think we can all take a little homework from today and get some personal messages out. For sure, the upcoming one on February 6th, I know we've already been advertising that, so it's pretty easy to just grab it and forward it and make a connection here and there. So thanks. All right. Could I bother, let's see, Dawn, are you willing to go next?
Yes, I am. I'm just not willing to turn on my camera because I live in sunny Tucson, Arizona, and I had a nasty dermatology appointment this week. No one
No
wants
problem.
to see me. I would scare small children and maybe even adults. So thank you everyone for joining us today. It's wonderful to see so many of our members have joined and want to meet the board. I was president last year, so this year I am past president. So I'm a hydrogeologist / environmental geologist by training, mostly work in the mining industry, but I've spent half my career doing just environmental work for other types of industries outside of mining. So a big thing that I really am going to continue this year was started is getting more collaboration between different professional societies and AIPG. So we've gotten a couple of alliances set up with memorandum of understanding. The Women in Mining is one, the Society of Mining, Metallurgy, and Exploration is the other one. It's known as SME. We also have a collaborative field trip this spring with the Engineering and Environmental Geophysics Society. That's actually going to be in Arizona to a couple of mine development projects. Anyone in our audience who has a conference coming up in their area that they'd like to promote a little AIPG at, or to see if you could get others from AIPG to participate, please reach out to the national office, whether you just call the national office, send an email to AIPG@aipg.org and say, hey, I'm going to go to this conference. Send me one of those ask me about AIPG pins. Or if you have other geologists in your organization who you want to promote AIPG to, then we've got, of course, volunteers who can help you do that, but also PowerPoint presentations that you can use to, the basic AIPG facts and information that everybody always asks about. So that's my spiel. Thank you so much, Shanna.
No, thank you, Dawn. It was an awesome 2023. So lots to be celebrating about that. And yeah, so much collaboration in the works. It's awesome. If we can continue on the theme, Sarah, are you willing to go next?
I'm Sarah Pearson, and I hail from the great state of Michigan. And I'm just going to say, go Lions. Because I think we have almost half the country rooting for us. But I'm a geologist, hydrogeologist, environmental geologist, working in for the state of Michigan for the Department of Environment, Great Lakes, and Energy. I have been working, I've got 30 years doing remediation. I was a consultant prior to coming to the state. And the past couple of years, I have spent, I've come over to the clean side in drinking water and source water protection and aiming at resource development. So I'm excited to be entering this realm, and I'm very active in the state of Michigan. I've been on the board several times at the section level, and I also am the chairperson of our annual environmental risk management workshop. And so that's a great time if you ever want to come to Northern Michigan in June and have some great interactions, Battelle level, of talks that are much more personalized. I invite you all to come. And then I've also served on the national committee. I was secretary a couple years ago. I've been national ethics chair. I'm stepping aside from that for the next 3 years, and then I'll go back to it when I've served my term as president-elect president and past president. And I'm also the design editor for the TPG. So I kind of live, eat, and breathe AIPG and being a geologist. And I do that because I really believe in this organization. I really believe wholeheartedly in what our mission is, and that we are the gold standard of professionalism in geosciences, and that we really need to promote that. I'm a CPG. I'm very proud to be a CPG. I do have my pin that says, ask me about AIPG. I meet with students and promote it to students, or early career professionals. I have staff who are geologists who I'm mentoring and bringing them along, and their members. And so I really would like to take this nationwide, keep spreading this message. People need to know what we do. What we do is important, and people need to realize that. One of the things that really I have a hard time with is how much science has been downplayed in society, and that we really need to stress the importance of science and data and making decisions based on data-driven initiatives. So, I'm looking forward to the next 3 years and marketing AIPG to everybody and anybody.
That's pretty much it, right?
Pretty much.
Like, no, it's a great thing. Join us.
It is great because we stand for, the highest level of professionalism that there is out there. We're the gold standard. It's integrity, ethics, competence.
All those things, just more people need to realize it, right?
Exactly.
Thank you so much, and welcome to the President Cycle.
Thank
We're
you.
all in it. Todd, would you mind going next?
Todd McFarland. I'm in Nashville, Tennessee, consulting, environmental consulting for my career, approaching 20 years now, primarily associated with site characterization or mediation activities. Really focused the last many years on the freight rail side of the business, so that's where most of my time is. But some other industrial commercial type work too. Vice president this year. I have been on the board in the past. I've been on the advisory board, was my first stand on the national board. Has been actually been vice president before, and also served as president in 2020, which was a great year to be president in COVID. So a little bit different year there, but excited to be back. And just to echo some of the things that Paula and Mark and said about and Clint, getting engaged with the sections. That's really the job of the vice president, or one of them is to really to coordinate that communication with the section, and we really get the advisory board involved in that as well. So really looking forward to trying to get engaged with some of those sections that aren't quite as active as we would like. We talked about membership and how to continue to grow as an organization. It really starts down on that section and level, getting some local participation. I mean, that's how I got involved, and I think that's how a lot of us got involved. You start getting local activities there and incorporated with some other geologists, and it just goes from there. The other side is the ECPs. Again, sections and ECP, right? That's our future, and driving membership. So looking forward to that. It's been a couple of years since I've been on the board, so glad to be back. The other side, one of the other roles of the vice president is on the honors and awards committee. So for folks on the phone there, we extended the deadline for honors and awards. I know there's a lot of well-deserving geologists out there that need to be recognized for what they've done. So please, if you have a nominee, don't hesitate. Go in there and get them nominated. We've extended the deadline a couple more weeks, so please do that. So, like I said, looking forward to working with everybody this year. Excited to be on the board.
Yeah, thanks so much, Todd. Thanks for coming back.
Yeah, absolutely.
After 2020,
Right.
I know that wasn't the best experience, but you
Okay.
let us
Somebody had to
through.
do
You and Aaron, yep, and everyone at the national office. We made it, so
Yeah.
big
Yeah.
deal. I think that I've gotten everyone. Our editor, Adam Heft, is out of town, and our fourth advisory board member, Andrew Jones, couldn't make it today. So I think that covers everyone, and I'll give a brief introduction. Hi, Shanna Schmitt, I'm the president this year from the Minnesota section, and I'm a hydrogeologist working mostly in brownfields, but a bit in Superfund too for the Minnesota Pollution Control Agency. And we've got a weird name. Most people are the DNR or the EPA or whatever, but the State Environmental Agency. And yeah, I'm just excited to keep all the good things going and introduce some new things. Just all the things that people have talked about before. We were always focusing on membership and how we can make sure we're providing good benefits to our members, but also how to tell people how valuable AIPG is, right? All of those things that go along with those statements. And so we've got a lot of things. We've got a ton of things. So we're just rolling out slowly some more focused benefits of membership things, and making sure we're continuing to add value where we can. So Dawn mentioned the collaboration and all the things we're doing to get memorandums together with other organizations, and sometimes reciprocity agreements. A lot of those, especially if they're international in nature, really benefit our CPG members. But some of the other ones that are domestic, have good value for everyone. If you're going to go to another meeting, or maybe use some space, or just collaborating with another group that you're a member of as well. And then the supporting members in sections, right? There's a lot of ways we do that. One way comes right after this town hall, and that's section leadership. So we have a new annual section leadership training, and that's what's going to directly follow this. And we kind of brought it out first time this past summer, fall. It was really well received. So it's going to be an annual thing in about late January. So all those new section leadership people can join in and kind of figure out, hey, yeah, this is got some people telling me more about what's going on, so I don't just have to read it in the handbook or rely on the pieces of information people tell me about. So lots of good stuff in that. And all the other things we do for membership, including our webinars, some of which are the Lunch and Earn series where you earn the CEUs. Some of them are just informational webinars, no CEUs or PDHs, whatever you want to call them. Some of the online learning opportunities are through GOALI, through our partnership with the American Geosciences Institute. And then, other things like we have a new document about how to plan a field trip, right? And different things like that. So to really help out sections that don't have the time and energy to kind of figure out everything from scratch or want a little more formal direction. We're taking care of all those things. So lots of opportunities there. And then, as Sarah mentioned, really advocating for professional geoscientists and what we can do and should be involved in. So there's a lot of things. There's a lot of things going on, and we'll have periodic updates, right? You get the e-news, you get some direct email blasts, and occasionally we have these town hall events where you kind of hear it right from the people working on it. So tons of stuff going on. I wanted to open it up for questions. I see a little bit has been happening in the chat while we've been talking. So if people have some questions that they want to ask of the people here that are going to be working for AIPG in 2024, at least the volunteers, we're happy to answer some if you want. You can raise your hand, then we can see you, and we can unmute you, or you can type it into the chat. So I'll just give a little pause for people who want to ask any questions. Dawn put something in the chat that's very, very exciting. The web page to register for the 2025 AIPG International Field Trip to Cornwall, England is now live. So if you think you might be interested in that, check it out. We will have probably an informational session on that in a few months. All right, I see some stuff was already answered in the chat, so thanks to people that have been monitoring it. And thanks for everyone for saying hi in the chat. That's fun stuff. So I don't see anyone jumping up for the opportunity, so we'll segue. Go ahead, Aaron.
I was just going to maybe talk in a little more detail about Jim Ridenour's question concerning our work with other organizations. AIPG does have a standing committee called the Inter-Society Liaison Committee. And that committee, its activity waxes and wanes depending on the collaboration between organizations. And as one example, when the Geological Society of America began to do its campus vision program, they were looking at what they might do with their building in Boulder. A member of AIPG was tasked to serve on that committee, and then that member, as part of their liaison duties, would report back. So there is that opportunity, and we always would welcome people who might volunteer because you're a member in 2 organizations and would like to serve in that liaison capacity. If you feel that you're someone that would like to do that, please reach out to Shanna, to me, to Wendy, and let us know. We'd be more than happy to accept any offers of help that you can give us.
Yeah, and some examples I can give on that. Now I see the comments, sorry, I kind of passed over that a little bit, but we have an agreement with the European Federation of Geologists, so our CPG membership is kind of equivalent to their Eurogeo title, European Geologist title. So you still have to submit an application, but you don't have to necessarily do everything. So the same is true for the Geological Society of London, the Irish Geologist Institute, IRI, I think it is.
IGI.
Thank you. There's a lot of acronyms.
It's alphabet soup.
So many. So we have agreements with those organizations, and we have some instances where the AIPG CPG is recognized for certain things, like as a qualified person for the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, and the specific subpart for mining, and same with the Canadian Securities and Exchange Commission. And we're always working on more. And I think the biggest one in terms of the mining and trading and stuff is the Crisco family of codes. So it includes a bunch of organizations, including Australia and, Malaysia and a lot of other groups. So we have all that on the website. And then, domestically, we have MOUs. Aaron, kind of alluded to them, and Dawn did too, with groups, where we're going to collaborate with them when possible, and we're going to share information and recognize each other, and have a free booth space at our conferences, and allow like the executive director or the president or some representative attend for free. So we have a lot of that going on with different groups. Yeah, so there's a lot going on in that respect, and there's always more. I think you had directly mentioned GSA. While we don't have a memo with GSA, we are always very involved with GSA. We go to the annual meeting. Absolutely. An AIPG member serves on the professional development committee of GSA, and we go to a lot of the section meetings, and in a lot of instances, help plan or organize field trips, or do any number of things. So yeah, there's a lot of fun stuff. Dawn, thank you. So Dawn says, if anyone knows someone getting ready to take the ASBOG, Fundamentals of Geology or Professional Geology exam, and wants to join a study group, please let Bridget Petrus know. And then Steve put in the link for the Georgia Symposium coming up in just a couple weeks here, February 8th and 9th. So lots of stuff happening all over the place. So before we move into updates from the national office, I'll just ask that the national office staff that's on the call maybe pop in and say hi, hello, and just maybe what you do. If you're comfortable doing that, you don't have to. I know I'm putting you on the spot, but I know I can put Aaron on the spot, so I'll make Aaron go first. Thanks.
Hi, everyone. I'm Aaron Johnson. I'm the Executive Director of AIPG. My job is to implement the vision that the board outlines for our organization to move us forward, and also to manage the day-to-day operations of the Institute. As part of that, I supervise employees, we manage budgets, we take care of contracting, and I couldn't do that without the help of my staff. Wendy Davidson is absolutely my right hand. Kathy Duran does all of our meeting planning. They can introduce themselves in a minute. But I'm very fortunate to have a fantastic support staff in the national office, and I'm able to do that because you continue to invest in us. You entrust us with your hard-earned dollars, and we do everything we can to represent you well. I'm originally from the southwest part of Missouri. If you drew a line from Springfield to Joplin and cut it in half, you'd be about 2 miles south of the house. And I'm a lifelong Chiefs fan. So I don't quite know what it's like to be a Lions fan. We only went 50 years between championships. But if the Chiefs can't win it, I'm probably going to be rooting for Detroit. So I figured I'd let you all know that. But we're in a good place. I think the one thing I would want to say is, especially post-COVID and recovering from the wounds that the pandemic inflicted upon the entire country and upon the economy, we've benefited greatly from outstanding leadership. We've made some, what I think in retrospect are fairly wise decisions in terms of our management, in terms of how we manage ourselves and our staff. And especially over the last 18 months or so, have really put ourselves in a position to be incredibly successful. And that's a testament to the National Executive Committee. I would encourage all of you who are on the call to be as active as you can afford to be in your section or nationally. And if you find that you're interested in doing more to support AIPG through an officer position, hang around for after the town hall, sit in on the section officer training we're going to have. It's not as onerous as it might sound. It's not scary. And we can certainly do a lot to make your lives easier as you also support AIPG and you bring your talent to the organization.
Yeah, thanks so much, Aaron. Wendy?
Let me get my video. There we go. Hello. I'm Wendy Davidson. I'm the assistant director. and I've been with AIPG a very long time. I've worked with AIPG almost 40 years, I suppose, and something like that. Great group of people to work with. I'm here to assist the executive director and support the board and support the membership in any way that we can. That's what we're here for. So if you have any questions, have anything we can do to help, just reach out to us. That's what we're here for.
Appreciate it. Kathy.
Hey everyone, good afternoon. I'm Kathy Duran with the AIPG headquarters office. I've been with AIPG for 18 years. I'm currently the professional services manager, which really means I plan all of our meetings, whether they're large or small. And I'm also the database administrator for all of the back end stuff, not only for AIPG, but also AWG, which is one of the associations that we support by doing a lot of their admin functions. So if there's anything you ever need, don't feel free to reach out, either email, call us, and we're here to help you.
They are on top of emails, I can tell you. You always get an email back really, really fast. It's crazy. So thank you. I appreciate it. I know I was a little spur of the moment, so I apologize. But not really, because you guys are always on top of it and fine and great. And it's good for people to see your face and know who you are. So the next part of the town hall is just meant to provide some brief updates on national activities. So we did that a little bit at other town halls in the past 2 years, and it's gone really well. So it's not going to be super lengthy and involved. We just want to give some general updates, so you know what's happening. I know a lot of you probably read the e-news, right, and read the TPG, but there's always something else, something newer that we can just provide an update on, or you can just hear it directly from us, and that's never a bad thing. So Erin was gonna pop on and give a few updates with me from the national office. It's early in the year, right? So we don't have a ton of things happening. There's nothing controversial on the horizon. We got a lot of things going on and a lot of things that we have in the planning stages. That's normal. We have our first in-person executive committee meeting coming up in February. We're going to meet in Richmond, Virginia. Thanks to Mike Lawless for helping host us there. The executive committee generally meets in the past 4 times a year, at least 3 to 4 times a year, right? And some of those are in person, always at the annual conference, usually a first quarter meeting like this February. And we changed things up under Don's leadership last year, and we started monthly meetings. Not necessarily to vote on something every month, but just to keep discussions going, right? It's an opportunity to get people together, just an hour a month, and then it makes our decision-making process at the quarterly meetings go faster. And then if incidental things come up in between those quarterly meetings, we can handle them in a more timely fashion. So the next big thing is our quarterly meeting, kind of planning stuff out for 2024. Lots of committees, right? So we get committee updates at the quarterly meetings. So lots of committees that are out there that can always use more members if you're interested. There's the screening committee, the membership committee, the education academic committee. There's a lot. And lots of opportunities for people, including, as Erin mentioned, the Inter-Society Liaison Committee. And then there's some other committees that are working on collaboration. There's the DEI committee, lots of things happening. So I'll kind of shut up and let Erin say a few things as well.
Thanks, Shanna. I will not be too lengthy. One of the things that I wanted to focus on a little bit is the monthly Lunch and Earn series that we've been offering this month. We will be offering one that might appear at the surface to be about mining, but what it's really about is workforce development and recruiting new geologists. It's a bigger and bigger issue, not only in the United States, but around the world. as we have more and more positions that are going unfilled because we don't have enough qualified applicants. I was on a call this morning with Chris Keene at AGI, and one of the things that we're seeing is more and more positions are being filled by people with environmental science degrees. And there's nothing wrong with it. I don't mean for it to sound as though I'm being down on environmental scientists. I'm not, but filling a position as a geologist with someone with an environmental science degree means that there's a bigger gap between the knowledge and skill base, more training that a company or a government agency might have to do to bring them up to speed. So it's going to be critical over the next few years that we do a better job of recruiting the next generation of geoscientists. That'll be the subject of the talk that's going to come up on Tuesday. So that would be Tuesday, what is that, the 30th of January. So I encourage you all to come into that. We do have it certified for CEUs everywhere but New York, and I'm still working to try to get that taken care of. The rules in New York are fairly specific, and if we don't meet those rules, then we won't be able to certify for CEUs in New York State. What else is on the horizon? I want to let everyone know that Larry Austin, the longtime chair of the screening committee, has decided that he will be stepping away after more than a decade of dedicated, outstanding service to the Institute. If you happen to see Larry, thank him for all the work that he's done on behalf of AIPG. And Barb Murphy from Arizona will be stepping in, filling in behind Larry in that role. So thanks to Barb as well. With that said, we always are looking for people who are willing to act as screeners, either in your individual section. The way the process works is that the section screens the application. Once the section has screened that application, then it will go to the National Screening Committee. So we're always looking for people that are willing to screen those CPG applications. And with the process being online now, if you're comfortable with an electronic application, I think you're going to find this process a bit easier than it might have been in the past. So keep that sort of in your hip pocket. Our application that's online has, I think, really made a big difference in the number of applicants. As we see, the number of CPG applicants has increased by almost 100%. We're seeing almost double the number of applicants. This year, we've been averaging a couple of applicants a week, which is a huge number. We typically would get around between 30 and 35 in a year, and we're well above that. We're on pace to stay ahead of that. With that said, you are our best recruiters. If you see the value in the CPG and you communicate that to a colleague, especially a junior colleague, one that you supervise, if you can communicate that to them, they're more likely to be certified. And I had a meeting with Dina Sneed, who's the executive director of ASBOG today. And Dina and I believe strongly that every geologist that can be registered professionally in their state should get their registration, and they should also get their certification. Because certification allows you a layer of protection that registration may not. It may also open up avenues that registration may not, because registration isn't accepted in certain fields. I would argue, and Dina would argue, that the geologist that has the highest career ceiling is the one that's professionally registered in their state and certified by professional organizations such as AIPG. What else is going on at the national office? We always have a space for someone who would like to do a lunch and learn. We've still got a couple of slots left before the current environmental and water resources focus rolls over in July. So if you know anyone, or if you're willing to put together a lunch and earn, reach out to me, to Wendy, to Shanna, to Dawn, and we'll make this process as easy as we can. All we're asking you to do is share the knowledge that you've gained as a professional geoscientist with others so they can benefit from it. It's really not much different than sitting down at the table over a beverage and talking about what it is you do to a younger colleague. In July, this is going to roll over and we'll start talking about natural hazards. So if you have expertise in hazards, whether they be landslides, flooding, volcanic hazards, erosion, we would love to have you come and give a talk for us so that we can share that expertise with our membership at large. And it's really a big member benefit. And we hear often from members how much they appreciate the opportunity to get continuing education that's of high quality, get it online and get it in an hour of their time that's condensed so that it's a highly efficient way to do their continuing education. I want to make sure that I thank all of our members of AIPG. Each of you chooses to support AIPG, you choose to spend your hard-earned dollars supporting a professional organization. And we do our very best to support you. So we're constantly looking at if legislation is coming up in your state. Right now, Arizona is undergoing a sunset review. AIPG, working with the Arizona section, put together a letter. Explaining is really the wrong word, but stating the importance of professional registration in Arizona from a group of qualified professionals in an effort to really make it clear to legislators that that registration has value. So if that were to come up in your state, please reach out to us. That's one of the things that we do, and quite frankly, I feel as though we do it pretty well. We're more than happy to do that. A second thing that's come up, and I want to put this bug in your ears. I was approached by the director of one of the better known field camps in the United States, and they're attempting to change their field camp model ever so slightly. What they want to do is they want to learn, let's see, what is it? Foster applied skills through field learning. The idea is that rather than the traditional field camp, they want to augment it by having you learn field skills. If they have a hydrology, and they do have a hydrogeology or a hydrology section, they want to do more than just back of the envelope hydro. They want you out there sampling the wells, doing the stream gauging, learning to do the things that you're going to do as a professional. And they're going to be looking for a group of 5 or 6 or 7 professional geologists from various sub-disciplines of geology that would be willing to sit down with them and outline the skills that you look for in new hires, with the idea that which of those skills then could be translated to field camp without compromising the field learning environment, instead doing this as augmenting. So I would have you put that in the back of your mind. I have a feeling we're going to call out to membership, but if you think you would be interested in working directly with one of the major field camps in the U.S., please reach out to us at the national office, and I'll put you on my short list of people to introduce. And maybe we pilot this as another way that AIPG can support the profession. What's good for those students is going to be really good for us as professionals working out in the field. Now I'll kind of leave it there. I could probably talk for another 45 minutes, but you're going to get plenty of me in the next hour. So I will leave it at that.
And there's always something to talk about. This is so true. So questions, like we'll open it up again for questions for this segment. So if you have some, you can either put it in the chat or you can raise your hand so we can find you and we'll unmute you and you can ask it live. As people are thinking of their questions, a couple things I see that happened in the chat. Dawn mentioned that during the National SME meeting next month, there is a AIPG lunch being held. It's in Phoenix, and so if you're going to be at SME and or you're in the Phoenix area or will be in the Phoenix area, February 26th. So there's a link down, put it in the chat, and you can register and meet up for lunch and say hi to some people that you probably haven't seen in a while. Let's see, Stephen posted the link to the Georgia Symposium coming up on February 8th and 9th, but then Sarah said, or Dawn said, congratulations to the AIPG Georgia section on their 10th anniversary symposium. 10 years, that's a big deal, so congratulations. Love it. This Zoom link is the Zoom link we're using for the next the webinar on the section officer training. So if you're going to attend that, you can just hang on the line. It's going to be the same. If you're not going to attend that, thank you for popping in and seeing what's what and meeting the new executive committee. We really appreciate it. And you can always reach out with questions. So most of our contact information is on the AIPG website, and you can always respond to one of the email blasts and we'll get forwarded to the right person that way too.